Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll catch up with the Spring Valley Nature Center. Then we'll see what's new with the Trickster Gallery. We'll close out the program with a look at Schaumburg's upcoming environmental fair. All of this and more here today on Speaking of Schaumburg. Every season, the Spring Valley Nature Center's 135 acres are home to events and programs for people of all ages. Dropping by today to tell us about their Haunting in the Valley event, as well as Spring Valley's other autumnal offerings, is Environmental Education Coordinator Mary Rice. Well, Mary, thanks.
I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for being here again.
Well, I love coming, you know that.
Yeah, well, tell us about the what's being offered at Spring Valley.
You want to start with Haunting in the Valley? In the autumnal way. Well, autumn officially began at the end of last week, so I guess we can say that. Well, the big one always is the Autumn Harvest Fest, which is the first weekend in October, but you particularly mentioned Haunting in the Valley, so I did a little research. We've had this event for 25 years. The first 20 years it was called Ghost Jaunt. And our big message then was there's nothing to be afraid of in the night out at Spring Valley, so come and find out.
I like that. Yeah. You do that so well.
Yeah, don't I? What can I say? School teacher in me comes out. Well, then about 5 years ago, we changed it to Haunting in the Valley. Now, frankly, haunting and ghost jaunt sound the same to me, but we did change the whole idea. Now people start at the Nature Center. They get a wagon ride down to the cabin area.
Okay.
And then they are led on their walk by a guide who is a creature of the night, and they get to experience.
What does a creature of the night look like?
Oh, it could be anything. Our interpreters could be dressed as Little Red Riding Hood. They could be little fairies and ghosties. They could be witches. We never know till they show up that night what the guides are going to look like. We will know what the characters look like once Dave Brooks writes the script. That's always the big thing in the fall. What is the theme this year? When is it going to get written? It will be written. It will be good. It will be about the night, but I can't tell you any more than that. People love it, though, because they get that nice ride on an autumn night.
Sure.
Sometimes it's a full moon, that harvest moon. I haven't looked to see if that's what it's going to be this year. Then that nice walk. It's
what do they encounter when they walk?
You know what a progressive dinner is? The idea that you go in your neighborhood from house to house. Well, this is like a progressive play. Okay. They go from site to site down by the cabin, maybe about 8 different stops. And there will be characters at those stops to interact with the group and with the guide.
How do they interact?
Well, they have a script that they're following, some sort of a message that Dave will weave into the script. And sometimes there'll be surprises along the way, and sometimes it'll just be what they say will be humorous. You know, sometimes there's some hidden humor in there that the adults get. Other times it's stuff that the kids get. So it really is a family event. It's for all ages.
Is there an age thing here?
Yeah, it is. It's for everybody, and so therefore there is something for everybody. Maybe not at every stop, but when you look at the total picture, sometimes it's like fractured fairy tales, and so you have Little Red Riding Hood out there doing something you wouldn't expect her to do, or the 3 pigs doing something they're not supposed to do. And other times it'll be more historic about the people who lived at Spring Valley, etc. So who knows what it's going to be this year. I do know it does sell out. We have about 240 tickets a night. We're limited to trying to keep the groups about 15 at a time to go on the walks. 2 nights, October 25th, Friday, and October 26th, the Saturday.
Okay.
It's a wonderful event. It's one of my favorite events. And then up at the Nature Center, we have hot cider and cocoa and donuts for sale while people are waiting or when they come back. There's a bonfire outside to keep the natives calm while they're waiting for their turn. And then we have carny games inside for the kids to play.
Okay.
So things have kind of worked nicely.
How long does it take? Let's say if you have kids.
It's about 45-minute commitment. You get there in a certain time slot. The tickets are sold in time slots, but that not a specific time. So you might buy a ticket 6:15 to 7. You will start the program sometime in that time slot, but we can't tell you because if everybody arrives at 6:15, they can only go out in groups of 15. You know how the trails are. They're narrow. It's nighttime. You want everybody to hear and see what's going on. So you got to keep the groups somewhat small.
Is it scary too?
A little bit, because some people are looking for that, but for the most part it's a family event to get people to realize there's a lot of critters out in the night, and it's a story of the night. There's other venues where they can go to be scared. It's not some place where your teenagers are going to come and go, woo, we were scared. It's not a haunted house. It's not a haunted forest. But there are surprises. And of course I'm not at liberty to say, not only because I don't know, but because I wouldn't want to give it away.
Okay. How long have you been actively involved in it?
I've been in it for 22 years. Yeah, when it used to always be down at the cabin, I was the one outside getting the groups ready. Now I'm the one up at the Nature Center, kind of taking care of the carny games and checking people in.
What's your demographic in terms of, I mean, is it mostly parents with kids and grandparents with kids?
Although people whose kids have outgrown it still come back for the memory of what it was when the kids were young. And we have one family who always has a birthday party that weekend, and it's always just adults that come. And you'd think that they were all children. They are just wonderful. You look forward to them showing up. They're just a lot of fun.
Now, what other autumnal events
Oh my gosh, we have so many things going on. I brought our Park District brochure, which is the thing you need to look in to find out what's going on. Over at the farm, we have the Oktoberfestessen, which is a dinner, a candlelight dinner in the farmhouse with a little bottle of wine for people. And that hasn't been sold out yet, although I know that it's getting close. Okay. So let me see if I can find you the date for that. I did actually write it down here. It's on Saturday, October 12th, so Columbus Day, or what used to be Columbus Day, from 6 to 8 at night. And that's held in the farmhouse. We also have an owl adventure coming up in November where people will go out on a night hike looking for owls, because as you well know, they're down at the cabin area between the cabin and the farm. Then when they come back, they'll meet a live owl. So that's always kind of nice to get up close in person.
Oh, that's the lady who works in Spring Valley.
Exactly. And she also brings the owl for the Halloween event.
She's been on this program where she brought a red-tailed hawk.
Yeah, exactly.
Hooded. Thank heavens.
Oh, really? Didn't take it off for you to meet it close up in person?
No. Don't make any sudden moves. Don't walk behind it.
Exactly. Exactly. And another big thing, which I really do have to mention, is this Aldo Leopold performance we're going to have on Sunday, November 10th, right here in Prairie Center for the Arts.
Okay. It's a lecture series, yeah.
Yeah, he's coming to impersonate Aldo Leopold, and it's a one-person show. And from what I've read about it and the reactions to it, it sounds absolutely wonderful. You know, we think of Henry David Thoreau and we think of some of the big names in the conservation movement of the 1900s, but Aldo Leopold and his Sand County Almanac.
Sand County Almanac.
Yeah, and he lived up around Baraboo, Wisconsin. And whenever you come to Spring Valley and you watch the video that Dave puts together as the orientation to the Nature Center, the first quote in this book is the quote that he always uses from Aldo Leopold. You know, some people think that paved land is where it's at, but there are some of us who think seeing a goose take off into the sunset is worth more than paved land. That's paraphrasing it very perfectly.
Ellsworth Meineke always touted that book as something that was very, very important.
It is. It's an absolutely beautiful book, and from the research I did on it, it's right up there with Walden's, with Thoreau's Walden.
And when is that event going to take place?
It's on November 10th, 7 p.m., 7 to 8 p.m. Here, right here, exactly. And you can register through here. The cost is $15 for adults.
And what number would they call?
Let me see if I can find it here. 847-895-3600.
Okay.
And this is really something that we can get this gentleman here.
Yeah, that's great.
So I hope the public will come.
Great that we're co-sponsoring that.
Yeah, exactly. So what else do you want to know? Spring Valley has so much. It just barely scratches the surface.
Tell us about the harvest.
The Autumn Harvest Fest. Gee, is that the most important thing that's coming up? That's the picture on the front of here, too. That's Sunday, October 6th, if I've got the date right. I think that's the Sunday. And it's from noon until 5. And it takes place between the cabin, the Merkel cabin, and the Heritage Farm. And it's going to be quite different this year, actually, so people really need to come out and see how it is. We have a lot of interpreters in the open area by the cabin, and we're going to move the children's crafts and the food venues and the live entertainment to the parking lot by the cabin, by that new shelter that we have there. And so that's going to be kind of nice. And we're going to set up a Frontier Olympics by the cabin so kids can come and do some of the chores that Pioneer kids would have done. Then over at the farm, of course, we have all those wonderful interpretive demonstrations that they have. They have their Farm Olympics, so we sort of borrowed their idea, if the truth be known, and then they have the major food event over there.
Now Park District has kind of redone the Nature Center, right?
That's another big thing, of course, that has taken place. Have you been over to see it yet?
I took a peek.
Okay, and it's still not done. Phase 1 theoretically ended at the end of December of last year, but we're still in the midst of it. You know how it is when you're constructing things, building things. It takes time. It takes longer than you think.
Still going to have turtles back there?
Oh, yeah, we're still going to have turtles, but it's going to be very different. We're going to build out the floor of the visitor center. We're going to get rid of those stairs going down to the turtles.
Okay.
We're going to make it that everybody can see the turtles rather than go down and visit them, but it's going to be access for everybody.
Sure.
And once we get phase 2 done with all the children's activities, it's really going to be super.
Now, if they want more information about any of these events, what number do they call?
They call 847-985-2100.
And that would be a direct line to
That would
you?
be directly to the Nature Center, and if they want me, they can ask for me, or they can just go to the Park District website because everything's up there. Or maybe they should call you because you know it all.
Mary, good to have you back on the show. Between art shows, guest speakers, musical performances, and numerous other events, there's never a dull moment at Schaumburg's Trickster Gallery. Find out more here next on Speaking of Schaumburg. Located in Schaumburg's Town Square, the Trickster Gallery features contemporary Native American art as well as film screenings, speakers, and discussions and workshops. With us today to tell us more is Joe Podlasek. Joe, welcome once again.
Hey, thank you very much.
Schaumburg.
Yeah,
Trickster, well, once again, just for my edification and the viewers, Trickster, where did that come from?
Trickster is a spiritual educator that sometimes plays games on you that's known in almost every culture. That's the beauty of Trickster, because we want everybody to participate and feel welcome. So we did some research about tricksters. For us, sometimes in the Northwest area coast, it's the raven. In this area, it's a coyote. So that's part of our logo, is the coyote. But what it does is it's not a physical being. It's a teacher, spiritual teacher. So if you and I both looked at a piece of artwork, we would see different things and maybe learn a little bit different depending on where that trickster took us.
I see. Now, tell us about the Trickster Gallery. What you have there, what people could come and see.
Yeah, so we're first and foremost, I want to thank you for your leadership and allowing us to be there. We love it there. It's a beautiful space. Expanded our garden this year to have more benefits for the village of Schaumburg, and they've been coming more and more. The garden has made a huge difference. So thank you.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, but we can, this year moving there full time for myself has been a fabulous move and gives us an opportunity for more strategic planning and looking at how do we make it more kid friendly. We want to engage more with the elementary school level schools, school grades, because we have a pretty good connection with the college level. They come on tours to look at the artists both locally and nationally that are exhibited there. But now what we're doing, and we're looking at in partnership with Comcast and the Chicago Blackhawks, to build that interactive children's museum in the West Lobby. So it'll have a teepee, it'll be a lodge, and on a coating of the floor, mats, we're going to paint the floor the way the United States used to look before it got sectioned up into states. So then the kids can actually see what Schaumburg used to look like.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we've done that research. Now it's time to build it.
Okay.
So there'll be things for kids to touch and feel.
What's your time frame on that?
We're looking at, we hope over the holiday break for Christmas that we'll be ready by mid to end of January to start inviting schools.
Okay.
Right. But we also have, part of what my goal is to get Schaumburg more involved. And what we've been doing is the second Wednesday of each month having a Let's Talk Arts. What are the visions that Schaumburg residents would love to see exhibits hosted and workshops hosted at the Trickster Art Gallery?
Now, there was a powwow recently in Bussey Woods. Were you guys involved in that?
We were. We always help promote it. It's a big Native culture, so being there, although day 2 got rained out. But day 1 was Saturday. It was a beautiful event that had a large crowd in Bussey Woods. So my goal is to bring that into Schaumburg.
Now, Joe Podlasek, that doesn't sound like a Native American name to me.
It's not one of those traditional names. My dad was Polish, and my mom was full-blood Lakota Ojibwe, which is in northern Wisconsin. So that's the last name, which I'm very proud of my Polish heritage, too.
Yeah. So what are some of the events that are coming up over the next several months?
So over the next couple months, one is Native Heritage Month is coming up. That's November.
Okay.
We're going to be featuring Joe Yazzie is a Navajo elder and a Vietnam vet. We are working with the state veterans and Hines Hospital to possibly get the Veterans VA bus where any veteran can get a health screening right on the spot. So we're trying to coordinate that with the village and the use of the gallery space and have a really nice celebration just before Veterans Day. Because I know the village always does a wonderful job.
Now I see you brought some ornaments and some things that are available at the Trickster Gallery. Is that correct?
Yeah, so they can stop in and see. We're making more connections every day with new artists. So these are a couple of the workshops that we're going to implement with the kids. This is our medicine bag. So the kids will actually be able to make these and take them home with them after touring at the gallery. A dream catcher, which is to help ward off bad dreams while you're sleeping. Some people hang them from their rear view mirror.
Yeah, I've seen
I don't
that.
get it. They shouldn't be driving or sleeping while they're driving. This is designed for at home in the window to the east when the sun comes up, because then it burns away the bad dreams.
Okay.
But some unique beadwork. There's some great beaders locally. This happens to be a deer antler that has some beadwork on it and is a keychain.
Okay.
Some fabulous earrings, another style of a key ring, and also we'll have the beautiful turquoise and silver jewelry that's...
Is that all made by artists?
These are all native artists, all native made, and of course our new collection of pottery. So we have a wide variety of black pottery from the Southwest.
Okay. And what kind of material is that?
This is a clay, and then fired and burned, and then it has some of them have a little piece of turquoise in it. I brought the bear. I'm Bear Clan.
Okay.
That's for my bolo too. So I'm always proud of the bears. But we're going to be bringing in more speakers to do more. From our arts discussion, we've already talked about, we've taken 5 exhibits and narrowed it down to 1, and which was health and spirituality, that people were most interested about the Native culture. And some of the beliefs is it's only for Native people, the ceremonies are very exclusive. Not all of them are. There are a few that are, but there's, for the most part, everyone is welcome. And that's what we want to start to.
You have a permanent exhibit there at the Trickster Gallery?
What we've just installed is the 50 Years of Powwow, which is great for the kids to come. We've done surveys over the last 3 months, and it's really an adult audience that we've been reaching. So we want to back it up and make it really friendly for the kids. This fits into school curriculum for history, for language, land issues, ecology. It fits right into their classes at 5th, 6th, and 7th grade levels.
Have you been in touch with District 54?
We're going to do that. I wanted to make sure that we were set, and now it's time to promote it. This just was installed, so it'll be here through March at least, maybe a little bit longer if we get a good response from the schools.
Okay.
But we have more educational programs, because then, as I mentioned earlier, in mid-January, we're going to have that children's museum, interactive museum.
Now you mentioned the garden that's there. Tell us about the garden.
Oh, the garden is beautiful. What a beautiful addition. That's a path that goes around the building that has a mixture of plants that are native to this area and some traditional plants that we use for medicinal purposes.
That's right at Town Square.
Right at Town Square.
Yeah.
Come and walk through and visit. If you want a tour, we'd be happy to walk through with you.
Well, I'm going to have to take you up on that, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to take you up on that. So now, if somebody want more information about Trickster Gallery, is there a number or a web
Phone number
site?
is 847-301-2090. Website is www.trickstergallery.com.
And your title is?
I am the Chief Operating Officer there of the Trickster Art Gallery. Very proud to say that.
All right, fine. Joe, thanks
Thank
once
you
again
very
for
much.
being on the show.
Appreciate it.
Local organizations are teaming up to offer the community some environmental education. Find out more here next on Speaking of Schaumburg. On November 16th, the Village of Schaumburg and the Schaumburg Township District Library are partnering with many local organizations to host a day of environmental education. Here to tell us about this year's environmental fair, our landscape and sustainability planner, Martha Dooley, Environmental Committee Chair, Donna Nicolason. Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg.
Nice to be here.
Tell me about this environmental fair. Where's it located? Who's involved?
Well,
When is it?
Yeah, the environmental fair will take place on Saturday, November 16th, and it'll be at the Schaumburg Township District Library. We're partnering with them this year. We've had an environmental fair. The environmental committee plans this fair annually, and we've been doing it for about 13 years. We used to partner with Hoffman Estates Environmental Committee, but we've decided to change the format of the fair a little bit, and we thought that, and we think that the library will be a great partner for us because they reach to a different audience than we do just as a municipality. They'll reach out to the entire township.
And they have a lot of programs over there too.
They do a lot of programming. In fact, they just recently came out with their fall brochure, and the environmental fair information is right on the front page.
How did you get involved with the Schaumburg Environment Committee?
I've been a volunteer at Spring Valley for years, and when Judy Vito, the volunteer coordinator, emailed and said there was an opening, now like 4 or 5 years now I've been on it, I jumped at it. Doing the environmental work and giving back to the community is my passion.
We had Mary Rice on the show here earlier today, so of course she works over there in Spring Valley. So, and what is the environment? What are some of the things the environmental committee has done recently or plan on doing?
We just had Septemberfest, and we had our booth, and we were promoting green cleaning products that you can make yourself, homemade products, and homemade products for bug and pest control in your yard rather than using harsh chemicals. Okay. And our big thing now is the environmental fair is what we've been planning.
Oh, tell me about that. You know, where did the environmental fair come from? Where wasn't it here at one point at the Prairie Center?
Yeah, we used to hold it here at the Prairie Center for the Arts, but this year we're going to be having it at the library. On a weekend day, we think it's great because there will already be people coming and going at the library for different, taking out books, things like that. But additionally, here at the Prairie Center, they're always very busy also with plays and musical performances and things like this. So we won't have to try to schedule in between those activities if we host at the library as well. And we're expecting just a great lineup of speakers that are going to come and talk about some excellent programs that we have here at the Village. We'll have an expert from the residential recycling contractor coming in to talk about that whole program for Schaumburg, what residents can and cannot recycle at the curbside. We have an expert coming in to talk about the home energy savings program through ComEd and NICOR.
What is that? Tell me about that.
They offer a number of incentives for residents to participate, to lower their energy costs really in their homes. They'll assist with partially funding, the cleaning of your air conditioning unit. They pay the contractor, and then they'll also give you water efficient nozzles for your bathrooms, and then LED lights and light bulbs and things like that, or compact fluorescent lights. So we think that that's a great program. We're really excited to bring that information to the community and tell people how they can lower their energy bills. We also have some people coming in to talk about sustainable landscaping and how to make your life a little bit more green, not use as much energy, maybe.
Well, how do you make your life a little more green?
Well, you don't use as much energy, you grow some of your own food, things along that line. And then, again, we're going to have a presentation on green cleaning products, how to make those yourselves.
Oh, yeah, you were talking about that.
Yeah, the products for cleaning anything. I was surprised to find out everybody should have a bottle of white wine vinegar in their home. It cleans a multitude of items from floors, stoves, carpets, furniture. Just a little white vinegar and water.
Really?
It's amazing, yeah.
What are some of the other tips that you can offer people to go green?
We have one of our environmental committee members, Jeff Hubner, built his own cold frame. So he starts his vegetables early in the spring. And so he's going to bring his cold frame actually to the event, and he and I are going to work on a presentation to show people how they can construct their own cold frame, what kind of vegetables they can put in there, how early they can start to plant in there.
I had a cold frame years ago.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, I did, yeah.
Yeah.
I was starting some of my annuals and perennials early, and I had a cold frame.
Yeah, he uses it for his tomatoes and things like that. Same thing.
Also going to talk about prairie gardening too, for people who want to start maybe doing native prairie plants to keep the soils healthy.
What's a typical prairie garden? What, if I wanted a prairie garden, what would I do? What are some of the plants I would want?
You would probably, there's many natural, like the cornflowers, there's many natural sedges and tall grasses if you want like the height, and then there's a lot in the aster family, I believe, that are part of that, that are native to Illinois.
How did you get involved with environmental issues, Mark?
Well, I studied ornamental horticulture at the University of Illinois in Champaign, and that's what my bachelor's degree is in. And my job has just evolved as sustainability and as natural landscaping became more and more prevalent, and people began to learn more about the benefits of it and how it helps the environment and helps the soils and things like that. As a horticulturalist, then I was able to take some of my basic knowledge of horticulture and apply that toward native landscaping. So. And
you want to do something just to save the earth, huh?
Yeah, yes. I have my degree in environmental studies.
Oh, really?
So,
where?
Through Northeastern.
Okay.
So I've been with wildlife management, and now I'm continuing with the McHenry County Conservation District to get ecological certification with the
how
plants.
Wonderful. That's great. Glad that you lend your expertise to the village of Schaumburg. That's great. That's great. So what are some of the upcoming events that the Environmental Committee is going to be involved with?
Well, we have the November Environmental Fair on the 16th of November, and then the Landscape Awards. We'll be looking at those actually this month at our meeting.
Okay.
And so the village's landscape inspector is out amongst all the properties during the course of the entire year. And
what kind of response do we get from businesses?
Oh, they love it. I mean, it's really nice to be recognized for how you beautify your property and how you help the community look good. And I think it's a wonderful program to recognize people for all their hard work, especially when the economy has kind of been in a downturn. It's really nice to be able to recognize people for the hard work they put into it.
Now, if somebody has questions about the environmental fair, I mean, it's coming at the Schaumburg Township Library.
Yeah.
It's on a Saturday, did you say?
Saturday, November 16th from 12 to 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's free?
Free.
And you have vendors there, what are some of the people who are going to be there?
The library is going to be hosting in the lobby the Prairie Stewards, the Schaumburg Garden Club, the Bicycle Club, Urban Worm Girl.
Urban Worm Girl? That sounds almost like it should be a Board of Health
Healthy
issue.
for plants.
It talks about how worms help with composting.
Oh, sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Sure.
Yes. And they'll also be showing 2 films throughout that day, Free Willy and March of the Penguins, for those who want to just relax and have a family movie afternoon.
That's great. Well, I'm glad you come on the show.
Yeah,
Martha,
thank you very much.
It's always good to see you.
Yep.
So nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
Good luck in you. It's good to have a good chair of the Environmental Committee.
Thank you.
We try to get more people involved in the environment and committees and commissions, and I'm glad that you've taken the time to volunteer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I enjoy it.
That'll do it for this edition of Speaking of Schaumburg. Join me again next month for another all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town.